Hello, I am John Najarian, and welcome back to Crypto Convo, crypto conversations with leading folks in crypto, whether they're technologists, whether they're offering a token, a decentralized autonomous organization, NFTs, we cover it all. And we are lucky enough to talk with a gentleman that I met, I want to say back in 2018,
4 years
Randall.
ago, Token Fest in Boston. I tell you what.
Yep. Boston Token Fest. And Randall jumped right in, and we had a great conversation then about a company that has grown by leaps and bounds. The company, folks, is Phunware, Phunware, and just a fabulous success story. It's been around since 2009. 2009, folks. So this is not some couple guys decided, oh, blockchain sounds like a great thing. Let's do that in the basement and bring out a stable coin and try to trade Bitcoin around it and give people a 20% return. We've never heard stories like that. But Randall Crowder, COO, Chief Operating Officer. Randall, welcome to Crypto Convo, sir.
Honestly, I'm humbled and so excited to be on it. So excited to finally be working with you. It's funny, we talked about it, at Token Fest, and one of the things that is so disappointing that any given cycle within crypto, a lot of pretenders disappear. I call them wantrepreneurs, and the ones that can kind of see it through, those are your real innovators. And so the ones that can kind of stick it out. And you've been a luminary in this space, providing a lot of great thought leadership. We're excited to finally get to a point, we can talk about it in a little bit, about where we're at and how we're going about trying to commercialize what we're doing responsibly. And it's going to be the future. I mean, I always kind of say this, someone somewhere is telling their grandkids, like, I could have invested in Uber when the taxi cab industry was going to crush them, or I could have invested in Amazon when it was a bookstore. And, some point in the future, someone's going to say, I remember when, John and Randall were talking about contextual engagement, and I could have invested in Phunware and Fun Token and gotten involved at the ground level. And the only difference is whether or not they're going to be boasting about it or commiserating about missing the opportunity. But now's a really good time to learn about what we're doing. And so I really appreciate the platform.
Oh, well, thank you, Randall. And folks, you do need to check out both the stock, PHUN, as well as the token that Randall mentioned there, because they do have this fun token that we're going to get to about how you earn those or how you can invest and so forth. It is a pretty compelling package that they have. And in fact, Randall, you guys were the first, when you came to market, you were the first that actually had your own token in the market as well.
That's right. We were the first company to go public with the cryptocurrency. We're the first company to have, a digital asset, a utility token, if you will, trading on a decentralized exchange. We'll be the first to list on a centralized exchange. So there's a lot of firsts. And I think it's by necessity, really. I think at some point the world is going to wake up and realize that credibility and accountability matters. Right now everybody's running around just chasing NFTs, or wondering why people are you always the rug pull or the scam or whatever. And the reality is, and you said at the very beginning, it's because there's a lot of bad actors in any space that's causing disruption. It's just natural. It's part of the growing pains, if you will. And eventually people get tired of it. You saw it in the 90s. You throw .com on it, you buy a bunch of really expensive chairs and some cars, it all explodes, but the founders all made a killing and they don't really care. And then they all become venture capitalists. Now, we're doing the exact same thing, where people are trying to figure out, what is this big new thing called blockchain and how are we going to leverage it? And there's some people who, by their reputation alone, make a boatload of money, and then they take it to the house. They're on the talk circuit. They're never going to commercialize anything because they're worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And why would they? We've tried to partner with a lot of the bigger kind of top 20, whether it's a protocol coin or not. And they have no sense of urgency. There's no infrastructure that makes it a real company. A lot of these, when you think of decentralization, unfortunately, the other side of that coin is leaderless. And so you can't build true innovation by committee and by just whenever you want to pile in and choose to work. And so I really do truly believe that the future of blockchain rests with real companies solving real problems in the real world. And so it's almost this idea of benevolent central authorities commercializing decentralized ecosystems. And if we can figure that out, I think you're going to really see blockchain be advanced so much further than where it is today. Talk about crossing the chasm. We're in the innovator space. We're not even an early adopter yet. Nobody's adopting anything. My favorite question when somebody asks me on stage is, what can you do with it? Come on. What can you do with anything in your MetaMask wallet? All you're doing is hoping it's worth more tomorrow than it is today. Let's be clear. And so as real companies like Phunware begin to think about, wait a minute, there's actually a really good answer to why blockchain. And we can actually make our platform stronger and better, and we can deliver more to our customers by leveraging blockchain technology. Then we really start to advance innovation. It's like what Google did with AdWords. Everyone went, oh my God, you can actually make money with the internet. You can better connect brands and consumers. We're doing the exact same thing, but we're doing it in a mobile first world, and we're doing it with blockchain. And so really excited to be, the first kind of public company to launch its own, cryptocurrency and fund token. But we can get there. I do want to talk about a little bit about Phunware if you'll have me, just so you understand why we're even doing this.
Right. Well, just as Randall's just described, folks, the potential is definitely there with blockchain, but a lot of entrepreneurs try to basically say, create something that doesn't need to be created. What they've created at Phunware is a way to get you paid for the brands and for your data. These brands are willing to do that, which makes complete sense. It's not quite the same as saying, hey, I could put all of your insurance records on a blockchain. Sure, you could. And what's that worth? Well, I don't know. It's really easy to check them out. Yes, it is. What's that worth? Well, it's a lot easier, I think, Randall, to see. And that's no slam against insurance plays on the blockchain. But if they don't offer something that isn't already in the world, I mean, you guys are a real company. You've got 200 plus employees in Austin, Texas. You've got big believers in the company because I know brands like, and some of these brands have invested in you guys, Live Nation, WWE, I believe, AT&T Stadium, Cisco. Some of those names I just threw out there, folks, are not only brands, but like I say, they're investors in the company. Do you think they didn't do some due diligence with Phunware and Funcoin, Fun Token, before they came in? Or do you think Randall just kind of wowed them with some magic beans?
Jazz hands.
Because there's a lot of magic beans out there, Randall.
There are. I mean, and honestly, the crazy thing is, it moves. Like, people are able to sell people on that, and that's a real shame to me. Sometimes you hear about, this. I mean, how many athletes have taken, really incredible salaries and been duped into plowing them into just silly franchises or silly NFT projects or silly tokens, and poof, fairy dust, it's gone. And so, you really, for us, we can't do that. I'll go to jail. Like, I have to be accountable to our shareholders. I have to be accountable to the regulations set forth by the SEC. So there's a lot going for us that I think is going to really differentiate us in the market. But, taking a step back, understanding, and you teed it up perfectly. When people think about Phunware, here's what I want them to think about. We are an enterprise cloud platform designed to deliver contextual engagement. I want to get the right information to the right person on the right screen at the right time and in the right place to either drive productivity or profitability. That's the future. So if you remember, like, most marketers or most kind of brands, when they think about engaging consumers, they think of like the 4 Ps, so product, price, promotion, and place. There's a Harvard, business review paper, probably maybe 3 years ago now, adding a 5th P called personalization. You got to drive relevance when you're a brand trying to engage a consumer, because like there are times where I'm just not going to pay attention to you no matter how valuable what you're trying to sell me is. But then there's other times where I'm really interested. When I'm walking through a Vegas casino, that's a different opportunity to get me to pay attention to different opportunities than it is when I'm in the gym and I've got 20 minutes in on the treadmill. Just different strokes for different folks. And so what our platform was always designed to do is basically drive engagement. So in the very beginning, and you highlighted this, so since 2009, we were one of the first to publish to the App Store. We built the first NFL app. We built the first NASCAR app. We built and maintain all of Fox's mobile application portfolio. We set a record for live streaming live event during the Sochi Olympics. We've done the presidential election. We've done stadiums, buildings, high rises, you name it. We have deployed mobile ecosystems to tech enable real world experiences. So then you fast forward a little bit, you start to get known as the guys who know a little bit about mobile. So actually, Kaiser Permanente comes to us and says, hey, can you help us find patients inside a building the same way you can find people with GPS outside? Like any good entrepreneur, we go, of course we can do that. And then we tell our engineers, figure it out. So fast forward to today, we have the world's leading location software. So just like GPS can give you a real-time blue dot outdoors to do like ride sharing, we do that inside. So we can triangulate you using any signal strength in any building, any hardware, any platform, and we can give you a real-time blue dot indoors, sub 1 meter accuracy, sub 1 second latency. So we just deployed this at Atlantis in the Bahamas. So it's literally an island, Paradise Island, 140 acres, 5 distinct properties, a casino, all these restaurants, cool water rides, an aquarium. We've basically created an interactive map for that entire island. So you'll never get lost and you can always find your way around. Real-time blue dot, indoor, outdoor, doesn't matter where you are. And you can discover new things. You can book cabanas, you can book, dining. You can do all these really cool features around gamification. That's going to be table stakes going forward. It's contactless check-in for registration, using your phone to unlock your hotel room. Migrate over to what we just did for a smart workplace solution. We just deployed this at Norfolk Southern, multi-million-dollar deployment. They wanted basically the smart office of the future. So now you can do everything from room booking, finding conference rooms, access control, changing the lighting in conference rooms, temperature, finding coworkers, finding your way around these large distributed campuses. We do this for hospitals, hotels. We've done it for residential buildings. And so this idea of using mobile platforms as a way to basically anchor and find a customer and then engage them and get them to do something. So what do? You really turn your phone into a mobile concierge. So that's our software stack, full stop. Then we thought, hey, if what we're doing to engage a consumer is valuable to the brand, I wonder if they would pay the consumer to engage in the first place. So we actually went on this really cool journey with somebody who sits on our board today. So Kathy Mayer sits on our board, former CMO and CDO of Carnival Cruise Lines. Before that, 20-year industry veteran, gaming and with Sands Corporation, Caesars. So we were riffing on all this and we said, okay, well, with your existing mobile platform, I could basically introduce infomercial-like capability at the point of sale. So if I'm trying to sell excursions, and I know that I sell the most excursions the day the ship is leaving port, makes sense. It's like, selling alcohol in the airport in Vegas. That's the best time to sell it. So now we're trying to get people to buy excursions. And I asked her, I was like, how do you do it today? She's like, signage, or if I have extra staff, they'll do one-to-one trying to sell directly. I'm like, oh my God, that's like archaic. So what we would do with our platform, we'd give you a push notification through the app on your phone. You're sitting there waiting to board the ship. All of a sudden, your phone buzzes. You pull it out. Would you like to watch a video of all the amazing excursions you'll have available to you on your trip? Sure, why not? But some people aren't. You might have a kid yanking on your arm. Somebody might need to go to the bathroom. You might have pissed off your wife. There's a million things that could go wrong to try to convert that user in that moment. So Kathy said something very smart. She said, if I know my numbers and I know my conversion rates and I know video converts at 80% higher than print, I want not only that infomercial-like capability, but I want to pay people to watch the video. I'll give you a quarter, 50 cents. If it's worth $100 just to get an extra 20% conversion rate, I might give you more than a couple bucks. Who knows? But I'll figure out my numbers. Can you technologically deliver that? Well, I don't want to use fiat for that. And I don't want to really be on chain either. So we created our own layer 2 methodology to enable that very thing. So I'm going to influence behavior. I'm going to incentivize engagement. I'm going to generate these rewards with an auditable, secure layer 2 level, and then effectively be able to go on chain when we're confirmed and we want to memorialize that. Really cool thing is their CFO said, you know what's great about this? This is a loyalty and rewards program, and I don't have to keep it as a liability on my books because it's blockchain. So when you ask why blockchain, when you shift custody over to the consumer, they don't have to keep it on their books as a liability anymore, and the light bulb goes off. And so think about this for airlines. I'll reward you for showing up, and 2 hours early to your flight. I'll reward you for checking a bag. If you're a hospital, I reward you for showing up to your doctor's appointment on time. It's $150 billion a year problem in the US alone, people being late or missing their doctor's appointments. $150 billion a year. Nobody cares. Sometimes they show up, they park in the wrong garage. Oh, by the way, our location software will help you park in the right garage, will help you navigate to where your actual waiting room is supposed to be. And we'll be able to dynamically load balance a clinician's schedule if we know you're going to be late and there's somebody who's Johnny on the spot already in the waiting room. Well, let's see them first. And then we'll wait for you because you parked in the wrong garage, and we'll wait for you to drive around. So giving people all of the information in the virtual world and serving it up in real world interactions, that's the future. And so when you think about digital transformation and what we're trying to do with FunToken is tech enabling real world experiences, incentivizing profitable behavior, and really what we'll be able to build is a data ecosystem that is all based around the value of engagement. And that's full stop FunToken. So we can talk about FunCoin and a bunch of other things probably, maybe later on if we have time, but I probably want to stop there and say, all right, let's dive more into these different pieces.
Right. Well, when it just shows how malleable the platform is and how talented your engineers and those 200 plus employees that we spoke of. Again, this is not just a couple of really smart computer scientists in a garage coming up with some way to use the blockchain. This is something that was basically set up to let you, the consumer, take control of your data and get compensated for your data. That was one of the salient points when it started out. And now you guys have branched into all these other areas, which are clearly, just like your example with the cruise lines, clearly very beneficial to that user, in this case, the cruise line, but also to the consumer. Because again, I can imagine that as if you watch this video, we'll give you a free drink, for instance. And if you buy more than one of these, we'll let you go to the captain's table for dinner on such and such night, or whatever it is.
Exactly. Or skip the line.
All those great experiences. And, we talk about that all the time on TV, that Americans and globally people are into experiential. They will spend money on experiences. And to the extent that you can incentivize them to take a look at an experience that they may indeed really be attracted to and click on, that's money in the bank for those folks.
I always say one of the things, so I spent another lifetime as a venture capitalist. And one of the things I used to tell entrepreneurs is I love ecosystems or innovations that can basically take moments of anxiety and turn them into moments of delight. And people are always kind of like, I don't really know what that means, but everyone's experienced this. And so it's little things where your phone makes your life better, or some piece of technology makes your life better, but it always comes with kind of a growth curve. And so you take airlines, for example. There was a time, and probably some of the younger kids paying attention, I'm getting old now, but there was a time when you had to print out your boarding pass for a flight. Like, I know kids these days that think, oh my God, a printer, but you had to print it out. And then this really cool technology started coming out where it was like basically a QR code and you could use your phone, and it never worked for the first like year. You'd go there, you'd be like, crap. And then you have to like run back and get the kiosk to print out a ticket for you. And you'd come back and be like, this technology sucks. And then eventually it got better and better and better. Now, if you're standing in line and someone pulls out like a paper ticket, you're like, what are you dinosaur? Like, what are you doing? Like, now everybody uses their phone. They don't think anything of it. It's starting to happen with hotel rooms. People are starting to use their phone to open their hotel rooms and skip the registration desk. There's still some people that do
already
key cards.
in Vegas.
Exactly.
I mean, last time I checked into Vegas, Randall, I always hated, even if you were a VIP, you'd get to go into a back room and they'd give you
And
a
wait
drink
there.
or whatever. But, most of us really just want to get up to the room, right?
Exactly.
And you don't want to wait in a line. And even if they're pouring you a free drink, big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've never had a free drink, I guess you're really excited about it. But other than that, I just want to get into the hotel and go. Now, at 2 or 3 of the hotels that I've been to this year, 2022, I've just gone in, and as I pass into the lobby of the hotel, it says, do you want to check in?
Yep.
Because I've already, told the phone that I'm going to be. And I'm not talking about Marriott or Hyatt. I'm talking about, Caesars and Paris and Wynn and things like that, where you don't have to wait in that long line anymore. So I get just what you're talking about.
And that's going to be table stakes. And it's what we're seeing now. It's what we saw in Atlantis. But there's always that challenge, right? So when we were first trying to sell Atlantis on what we call digital transformation, so we're going to really give everybody a mobile concierge in the palm of their hands through this native application that you control, right? And so they're like, yeah, I think so. But I mean, I'll tell you, it was a little painful. And this is what 95% of the entire crypto industry does not understand, because they've never worked with a Fortune 500 brand. They've never worked with anybody. They just got white papers, avatars, and cuddle puddles. So I don't have time for that shit. We're trying to build something here. We're trying to move innovation forward in a big way. And so when you're working with these customers, you got to start thinking about things that are very serious to them, but you got to deal with long sales cycles as you try to educate them on what the ROI is going to be, what the benefit's going to be. Fast forward to when we released it in Q1, like within like the first week, they made like 50 grand, like just, booking cabanas, doing cool things, because that's how people experience things these days. You hit the nail on the head. It's got to be experiential. It's got to be contextual. It's got to be personalized. It's got to be when I want it, because we live in an on-demand economy, whether it's on-demand experiences or on-demand products or on-demand services. We want what we want it now. So once they made money on it within the first week, all of a sudden the good idea fairy got out of her cage. So now they're contacting us like, can we do this? Can we do this? What about augmented reality? What about this? What about that? And so it's going to take a couple years, maybe not as many as we think, but over this year and next year, people are beginning to understand the power of engaging through, and what we don't even call it a mobile phone anymore. It's just your phone. It's that ubiquitous. And so what we're doing with Fun Token, that's effectively our picks and shovels. So it's valuing engagement. How do I influence behavior? And as we do that, we're creating valuable data. That data will also have a digital asset managing it. So Fun Token is all about the value of engagement, the picks and shovels. Well, Fun Coin will be the gold mine. So as you tell a data engine, we happen to have a Neo4j graph database, but as you tell people who you are, where you are, what's around you, and what's important to you, you are sourcing your own data. That's also valuable. And so the example I always give is like a car. So I might go to you and say, John, are you going to buy a car in the next 6 months? Yes or no is important to me. John Wanamaker, father of modern advertising, early 20th century, said, I lose half my money on advertising. The problem is I don't know
which half.
And it's still a problem today. And it's just getting worse and worse. So you have Google's getting rid of the third-party cookie. They're not going to do anything to replace it. GDPR in Europe, CCPA in California. You have state AGs going after companies for deceptive trade practices and how they collect data. The future of data is first-party data, and you have to be able to manage and audit consent. And so what we're doing with Phunware, which is on iOS and Android, can download it today, is managing our blockchain ecosystem. So it manages both Phuntoken and Phuncoin. Phuntoken, picks and shovels. That's going to be how you access the features of our platform, rewarded survey, rewarded video, go to this location on time, like a doctor's appointment, fill out this survey. Are you going to buy a car? Yes or no? I'll pay you regardless of the answer. Because if it's no, I'm not going to waste marketing dollars on you. If it's yes, you may see an ad for a new BMW in a couple of weeks playing Words with Friends. So what happens in our ecosystem is I reward you with Phuntoken for answering the survey. I segment you into specific audience segments based on, in this case, purchase intent. And then in the future, if I sell your data to an automotive manufacturer who's trying to reach you to get you to buy a car, I'm going to pay you in Phuncoin for your data. So I'm going to pay you to engage with me, and I'm also going to pay if I ever make money on your data. And it's all first party. It's all controlled by you. This is the future. Phuntoken is picks and shovels. Phuncoin is the gold mine. Phunware manages everything. It becomes a persistent mobile presence that manages that first party data. And then just the cherry on top is we just bought a company called Light. Basically, it's a high performance computer distributor. If you remember Alienware, it effectively does what they do. And the big idea there is if you ever want to effectively bridge Web 3 to Web 2, so Web 2 data, which would melt any blockchain, to Web 3 applications, the promise of decentralization, you got to have some sort of technology in the middle. And quite frankly, you got to have hardware. Nobody likes to talk about hardware. Everybody loves software, but software exists at the pleasure of hardware. Bitcoin wouldn't exist if someone didn't invest in a bunch of high performance computers, shove them in a warehouse, and use, the energy of a small city. Basically, cloud services wouldn't exist if Amazon hadn't invested in a bunch of high performance computers and shoved them into data centers all over the world. So if you think about the natural disintermediation of banks, so Bitcoin said, you know what? If me and John want to transact value, I should not need a bank mucking it up in the middle, taking their fees. I should be able to send you whatever I want. Cool. It was a joke at first, dude bought a pizza for like 100,000 Bitcoin or something. It was crazy. But fast forward today, it's not a joke anymore. The world has realized maybe there's something to this trustless system. It's going to happen to data because data is the most valuable asset on the planet. And everybody knows you do not need data oligarchs in the middle. You don't need Facebook and Google surveilling you, hiding microphones in your Nest thermostat. You don't need Uber turning on turning on cameras and audio to try to figure out what you want. People will tell you what they want if you just ask them.
Yeah, and you compensate them.
Exactly. Transparency and auditability are the future. We're not here to tell you that we're going to mask your data from the dark web. That's not our business. I think the big idea behind blockchain is radical transparency, accountability, and auditability. And so once you can tell someone, here's what I want, here's what I'll give you in return, and you maintain control throughout, brands will skip the data oligarchs in the middle, and they'll go directly to consumers. You just got to create an efficient system to enable that, and that's what we're building. So the big idea is, can we commercialize a truly decentralized data economy? And that's what we're starting to put into place, these different components that will enable that. And it's no different than what Amazon did. For 10 years, Bezos knew that we would have an on-demand economy when nobody even knew what that was. And everybody made fun of him and everybody thought it was stupid. And then they woke up one day and they realized that he basically built an unbeatable competitive advantage. And I want to do the same thing. That's what our entire team wants to do. And so when you think about, everything that you buy is Amazon enabled, we want everything that you experience to be Phunware enabled. And Phuntoken is the first thing that's being commercialized around that you can buy right now. You go to buy.phuntoken.com. It just started trading on Uniswap. We're going to be launching on a couple exchanges here pretty soon as well. And then we're kind of having our soft coming out party at Consensus in Austin, June 9th through 12th. So anybody listening that is there, be sure to check out. We've got a lot of really cool stuff going on, some big signage right by the main stage and right by the featured stage, but it will actually start a really cool fun token consensus quest, which is effectively a treasure hunt. So we got over $100,000 that we're giving away throughout the course of the conference by getting people to use Phunwallet and use it to engage in the world around them during the conference and accomplish different tasks, different quests. It'll be really cool.
Oh yeah, it sounds like it. And we're going to have to do another segment another time, Randall, but I want you to put, as you said, the cherry on top. Give people an idea of how many people are basically using this software right now. I mean, how many uniques do you guys get? How many people are out there that have elected to, say, I want to get compensated for my data. I don't just want Google or Facebook to make money off my data.
Yeah. So two answers there. And this is, one of the things I'm really proud of is it's still early days. I will absolutely admit it because we're a public company, we had to do everything right. We have to be compliant. We have to KYC. We have to have an audit trail. We have auditors. We have legal requirements that require us to do this the right way. So we spent our own money to build this ecosystem. We didn't sell a single fun token until we had built this ecosystem. Now, most people go out, raise a bunch of money, use that money to build it or promise they're going to build it. And then you'd be sitting in roadmap hell for the next 2 years wondering when they're going to build something. And their big event would be, we've got a mobile app. And everybody would go, oh, they got a mobile app. We did that first. We built our MVP first before we asked anything of a consumer. So now we're just selling software. We're selling those picks and shovels. And there's a great compliance element to that by having the ecosystem, having true utility, being able to do something today. So we haven't begun marketing it yet. We've been doing some soft conversations with people, but there's two answers to your question. Phunware, very interestingly, kind of accidentally became a data company that we haven't monetized yet.
Oh yeah, significant data.
So as we're deploying all of this software and we're doing all of these things and we're becoming these kind of mobile experts, you got to always have a big audacious goal. For any of the young entrepreneurs out there or old entrepreneurs out there, anytime you're raising money from VCs, you got to have some big goal that nobody thinks you can accomplish. Well, one of ours was, I wonder if we could create a Phunware ID for every human being on the planet with a mobile device touching a network. Everybody's like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. Fast forward to today, we've created over 15 billion, with a B, 15 billion Phunware IDs. So different demographic data, different purchase intent, different location data, whatever it is. And now the goal is, a lot of that's third-party data. It was collected correctly, but it's still not activated in the way we want to activate it. So at scale, our system sees about 1 billion active devices a month. How do we have every single one of those people take control of their data? How do we get them into Phunwallet to say, almost like going to some of those, those health grades pages where it's like, they scroll the internet, they put all these profiles on there, and then it's like, is this you? And you can click on it and then own it. So we're doing that with data now. So it'll be this idea of, here's everything that we know about you already based on your device ID, no personally identifiable information at all. But we know you like, luxury goods or outdoor sports or cruises or travel or whatever. And we don't even have to know your name, but we know your kind of archetype. We know things about you. We want you to come into Phunwallet and say, I'm going to take control of that data. And guess what? If you don't want us to share it with anybody, you got it. You want us to delete it? You got it. But if you want to curate it, sanitize it, make it even more valuable, we'll sell it on your behalf and you'll get compensated for it. And every time you tell us more about you, we'll compensate you for that as well. That's going to be the future. And so even though we just got started, call it, I think our initial target this year would be about 1 million users inside of Phunwallet that have kind of taken that step. And so we've got, several 100,000 downloads at this point. We're kind of working towards that in a soft way, but we've really been trying to do it by design. In the ARMA, we always said, slow, smooth is, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And so, what that really means is, be purposeful in what you're doing. Don't just rush into something. And what we found is a lot of ways to protect our brands. So when we launch, and what we've launched like little test cases, like little sweepstakes or certain blockchain related things, and we'll see these bot attacks, and then our engineers will figure out how to basically mitigate those bot attacks, and then we'll figure out who else is trying to hack the system or hurt security or do different scams. And man, if anybody's new to crypto, the scams are impressive. They are complex. They will play the long con on you. And so we've got to think about our brands before we activate all of this data in a really meaningful way and start doing things on chain. You can't have Nike put $10 million on chain and have that get hacked or fat fingered and sent to the wrong wallet address. You've got to think about how these brands want to engage and give them a soft on-ramp into crypto. So we perform this as a service. It's effectively blockchain as a service. We handle everything. We're the issuer. They basically use dollars with us, marketing dollars, whatever else they want to budget from. And then we are the issuer of record. We handle all the compliance. We handle all the issues. And the really other cool thing about it and how we hack growth is because all of our features, including our location software, are designed around software development kits or APIs. So those things can live within third-party applications. So just like that Carnival example in the very beginning, when we put Fun Token inside of a third-party application, like let's say we were working with Atlantis, they can call it whatever they want. They could call it Atlantean coin. Now, the Atlantean coin is never going to trade on Coinbase. That's just UX UI. So when some random person who's never even heard of crypto is earning inside of the app, they're doing it in a very safe way. And then there's clear instructions on how to basically take custody of what they've earned. And so we're going to be able to hack growth through the brands we already work with. We're going to be able to do it direct, people who are really interested in this data economy. And then it begins to become a new normal for how brands engage with consumers. Being able to skip, the Facebooks and the Googles in the middle, or the credit agencies where, it's all surveillance. I still get mailers from the Navy. I'm like, I was in the Army for 10 years. I'm too old to even join the Navy. Like, why are you still sending me this? Like, secure your future now, join the Navy. I'm like, wrong person, barking up the wrong tree. And if I could join, I'd join the Army again, So it's just, but all they know about me is that I'm a male, and that's it. They don't have any more contextual information than that. And so really what we've done is we haven't pivoted anything. We spent a decade building mobile software to better engage you. Part of that platform was location software to find you. We realized that if we can find you and engage you, we might incentivize your engagement. And the more we incentivize that engagement, the better data we get. We can use blockchain to authenticate who we're engaging and further compensate you for selling that data. And along the way, build a truly decentralized data economy. It's pretty
beautiful.
Cool.
Fantastic summation of so many opportunities that Phunware is really taking advantage of and offering consumers a way that they can take control and get compensated. Yeah. Randall Crowder, thank you so much for your time today on Crypto Convo. I know we're going to have another conversation, but I wanted to get you on while the iron was hot, as they say, and
get out of those NFTs and get into Fun Token. And look, we're a true believer. We're sitting on over 650 Bitcoin, well over 1,000 Ethereum. We are active participants in this market. We're true believers. This is going to be the future, and really appreciate you having me on, and can't wait to talk again, and hopefully see you in Austin here pretty soon.
Yeah, hopefully I see you at Consensus in Austin. I think I'm going to be there the 10th and 11th. I know it goes the 9th through the 12th, I think, in Austin, Texas. But Randall Crowder from Phunware, PHUN, both the token and the coin, Fun Token and Fun Coin. Make sure you check them out, folks.
Absolutely.